Hybrid Warfare Revolution: How Cyber Operations Redefine Modern Conflict. Welcome back to Cybernetic Warfare Frontlines, where we analyze the convergence of technology and warfare that's reshaping how nations project power and defend their interests. Today we're conducting a comprehensive analysis of hybrid warfare, the revolutionary approach to conflict that seamlessly integrates cyber operations with conventional military action, information warfare, and economic pressure to achieve strategic objectives without crossing traditional thresholds of war. The nature of warfare has fundamentally transformed in the digital age. Gone are the days when conflicts were confined to clearly defined battlefields with uniformed combatants following established rules of engagement. Today's adversaries operate across multiple domains simultaneously: land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace, while leveraging non-military tools including economic warfare, diplomatic pressure, and information campaigns to achieve what previous generations required massive military invasions to accomplish. Hybrid warfare represents the most significant evolution in military strategy since the advent of nuclear weapons. This approach allows state and non-state actors to achieve strategic objectives while maintaining plausible deniability, avoiding escalation to full-scale conventional war, and exploiting the gray zone between peace and conflict where traditional deterrence models prove inadequate. Defining the hybrid warfare paradigm: hybrid warfare encompasses the coordinated use of military and non-military tools to achieve strategic objectives while remaining below the threshold that would trigger conventional military responses. This approach recognizes that modern societies possess numerous vulnerabilities that can be exploited through cyber operations, information manipulation, economic coercion, and targeted conventional actions. The concept builds upon historical precedents of irregular warfare, guerrilla tactics, and political subversion, but leverages modern technology to amplify these approaches far beyond their traditional limitations. Digital networks enable small groups or even individuals to conduct operations that can affect millions of people, while social media platforms provide unprecedented access to target populations for influence operations. Modern hybrid warfare campaigns typically operate across 5 distinct but interconnected domains. The land, sea, and air domains represent traditional military operational areas, while space and cyberspace provide new venues for conflict that often prove decisive in determining outcomes. The integration of operations across these domains creates synergistic effects that exceed the sum of individual components. The temporal aspect of hybrid warfare distinguishes it from conventional military operations. Rather than seeking decisive victory through rapid military action, hybrid campaigns often unfold over months or years, gradually degrading adversary capabilities and resolve while building strategic advantages. This extended timeline allows for sophisticated psychological operations and economic pressure that can prove more effective than kinetic attacks. Cyber operations as the foundation of hybrid warfare. Cyber operations serve as the foundational element of modern hybrid warfare because they provide capabilities that span all other domains while offering unique advantages in terms of attribution, escalation control, and cost-effectiveness. A single cyber operation can simultaneously affect military command and control systems, economic infrastructure, and civilian populations without crossing traditional thresholds for military retaliation. The strategic value of cyber operations in hybrid warfare stems from their ability to create effects that would require massive conventional military resources to achieve through traditional means. Disrupting electrical grids, financial systems, or transportation networks through cyber attacks can paralyze entire regions without deploying a single soldier or firing a single shot. Advanced persistent threats represent the most sophisticated form of cyber operations within hybrid warfare campaigns. These long-term infiltration efforts establish persistent access to target networks, enabling intelligence collection, infrastructure mapping, and the pre-positioning of cyber weapons that can be activated during crisis periods. The integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies is revolutionizing cyber operations within hybrid warfare contexts. Automated attack systems can adapt to defensive measures in real time, while AI-powered reconnaissance can identify vulnerabilities and plan attack sequences faster than human operators can implement countermeasures. Information warfare and cognitive domain operations. Information warfare has emerged as perhaps the most cost-effective component of hybrid warfare, enabling relatively small investments in content creation and distribution to generate massive strategic effects. The proliferation of social media platforms and the democratization of content creation tools have dramatically lowered the barriers to entry for conducting sophisticated influence operations. Modern information warfare operates in what military strategists term the cognitive domain, the space where human perception, decision-making, and belief formation occur. Unlike traditional propaganda, which sought to convince audiences of particular viewpoints, contemporary information warfare often aims to create confusion, undermine trust in institutions, and paralyze decision-making processes. The development of artificial intelligence-powered content generation tools has fundamentally altered the information warfare landscape. Deepfake technology enables the creation of convincing video and audio content featuring public figures saying or doing things they never actually did. Large language models can generate persuasive text content in multiple languages and styles, making it increasingly difficult to distinguish authentic communications from artificially generated propaganda. The weaponization of social media algorithms represents another frontier in information warfare. By understanding how platform algorithms determine content visibility and engagement, sophisticated actors can manipulate information ecosystems to amplify specific narratives while suppressing opposing viewpoints. This approach leverages the platform's own optimization systems to achieve strategic communication objectives. Economic warfare in the digital age. Economic warfare has been revolutionized by digital technologies that enable precise targeting of financial systems, supply chains, and critical economic infrastructure. Cyber attacks against financial institutions can disrupt payment systems, manipulate market data, and undermine confidence in economic stability without requiring physical destruction of assets. The integration of economic and cyber warfare creates new vulnerabilities that adversaries can exploit to achieve strategic objectives. Supply chain attacks can disrupt manufacturing and distribution networks, while targeted financial cyber operations can impose costs on specific sectors or regions. These approaches enable economic pressure that is difficult to attribute and challenging to counter through traditional diplomatic or military means. Cryptocurrency systems have introduced new vectors for economic warfare that operate outside traditional financial regulatory frameworks. State and non-state actors can use digital currencies to evade sanctions, fund covert operations, and conduct financial attacks that are difficult to trace and prosecute through conventional legal mechanisms. The globalization of supply chains has created systemic vulnerabilities that hybrid warfare practitioners can exploit through cyber operations targeting logistics networks, inventory management systems, and transportation infrastructure. These attacks can cascade through interconnected economic systems, creating disruptions far beyond their initial scope. Case study analysis. Historical hybrid warfare campaign. The examination of historical hybrid warfare campaigns provides valuable insights into how these concepts translate into practical strategic outcomes. The analysis of past operations reveals patterns in planning, execution, and strategic effects that inform current defensive preparations and threat assessments. One of the most studied early examples of modern hybrid warfare occurred during the conflicts in Eastern Europe during the 2010s, where conventional military operations were combined with cyber attacks, information campaigns, and economic pressure to achieve territorial and political objectives. This campaign demonstrated how hybrid approaches could achieve strategic goals while maintaining degrees of plausible deniability that complicated international responses. The cyber component of this campaign included attacks against critical infrastructure, government networks, and media organizations that supported conventional military operations while degrading the target's ability to coordinate defensive responses. Information warfare operations sought to justify military actions, undermine international support for the target, and create confusion about the true nature and scope of the conflict. The economic warfare dimension included energy supply manipulation, financial pressure, and trade restrictions that imposed costs on the target while demonstrating the consequences of resistance to strategic demands. These economic tools provided leverage that persisted beyond the immediate military phase of the campaign. Modern hybrid warfare, technological force multiplier. Contemporary hybrid warfare campaigns leverage technological capabilities that were unavailable to previous generations of military planners. The proliferation of internet-connected devices, the integration of digital systems into critical infrastructure, and the dependence of modern societies on information technologies have created new attack surfaces that hybrid warfare practitioners can exploit. The Internet of Things has dramatically expanded the potential scope of cyber operations within hybrid warfare campaigns. Smart city infrastructure, industrial control systems, and consumer devices all represent potential entry points for cyber attacks that can affect physical systems and civilian populations. The challenge for defenders lies in securing vast numbers of devices with limited security capabilities and inconsistent update mechanisms. Artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies are transforming both offensive and defensive capabilities in hybrid warfare contexts. AI-powered cyber attacks can automate reconnaissance, vulnerability discovery, and exploitation processes, enabling smaller teams to conduct operations that previously required significant human resources. Simultaneously, AI-enhanced defensive systems can detect and respond to threats faster than human operators. The development of quantum computing technologies will eventually revolutionize the cryptographic foundations of modern communications and data protection. Hybrid warfare practitioners are already positioning themselves to exploit the cryptographic vulnerabilities that quantum computers will create, while defensive organizations struggle to implement quantum-resistant security measures. Defensive strategies and resilience building. Defending against hybrid warfare requires fundamentally different approaches than traditional military defense planning. The multi-domain nature of hybrid threats demands integrated defensive strategies that coordinate across government agencies, private sector organizations, and international partners to address threats that span multiple jurisdictions and operational areas. Cyber resilience forms the foundation of effective hybrid warfare defense because cyber operations often serve as enablers for other hybrid warfare components. Organizations must develop capabilities to detect, respond to, and recover from cyber attacks while maintaining essential operations under degraded conditions. Information warfare defense requires sophisticated approaches to monitoring and countering disinformation campaigns while preserving freedom of expression and open information exchange. Defensive organizations must balance the need to combat malicious information with the importance of maintaining democratic values and avoiding authoritarian approaches to information control. Economic warfare defense involves diversifying supply chains, strengthening financial system security, and developing economic tools that can impose costs on adversaries conducting economic attacks. This approach requires coordination between government agencies and private sector organizations that control critical economic infrastructure. International law and hybrid warfare challenges. The emergence of hybrid warfare has created significant challenges for international legal frameworks that were developed to address conventional military conflicts between nation-states. Existing laws of armed conflict provide limited guidance for addressing operations that span multiple domains while remaining below traditional thresholds for military response. The attribution problem represents one of the most significant legal challenges in addressing hybrid warfare. When cyber operations are conducted through proxy organizations or with sophisticated technical obfuscation, determining legal responsibility for attacks becomes extremely difficult. This attribution challenge complicates efforts to apply existing legal frameworks to hybrid warfare operations. The development of international norms for cyber operations within hybrid warfare context remains an ongoing process that involves technical experts, legal scholars, and policymakers from multiple nations. These efforts seek to establish boundaries for acceptable state behavior while preserving the benefits of digital technologies for economic development and social progress. Collective defense mechanisms for hybrid warfare require new approaches to alliance cooperation that address threats spanning multiple domains and involving both state and non-state actors. Traditional military alliance structures must adapt to address economic, informational, and cyber threats that may not trigger conventional mutual defense commitments. Emerging technologies and future hybrid warfare. The rapid pace of technological development continues to create new capabilities and vulnerabilities that hybrid warfare practitioners will exploit in future campaigns. Emerging technologies including autonomous systems, biotechnology, nanotechnology, and advanced materials will provide new tools for both offensive and defensive operations. Autonomous systems will revolutionize hybrid warfare by enabling unmanned operations across all domains with reduced risk to human operators. Swarms of autonomous drones can conduct coordinated attacks against multiple targets simultaneously, while AI-powered cyber weapons can adapt to defensive measures without human intervention. Biotechnology advances are creating new possibilities for both defensive and offensive applications in hybrid warfare contexts. Synthetic biology could enable the development of targeted biological agents, while genetic analysis technologies might allow for unprecedented precision in targeting specific populations or individuals. The convergence of physical and digital systems through technologies like digital twins and cyber-physical systems will create new vulnerabilities that hybrid warfare practitioners can exploit. As more physical infrastructure becomes dependent on digital control systems, the potential impact of cyber operations on physical systems will continue to expand. Strategic implications for national security. The proliferation of hybrid warfare capabilities has fundamental implications for national security planning that extend far beyond traditional military considerations. Nations must develop comprehensive approaches to hybrid threats that integrate military, intelligence, law enforcement, and civilian capabilities to address threats that span multiple domains and sectors. The democratization of hybrid warfare capabilities means that smaller nations and non-state actors can potentially achieve strategic effects against much larger adversaries through asymmetric approaches that exploit technological vulnerabilities and social divisions. This trend challenges traditional assumptions about military balance and deterrence relationships. The speed of technological change means that hybrid warfare capabilities and vulnerabilities evolve rapidly, requiring continuous adaptation of defensive strategies and organizational structures. Military and security organizations must develop agile approaches to technology adoption and threat assessment that can keep pace with rapidly evolving operational environments. The integration of civilian infrastructure and capabilities into hybrid warfare defense requires new models of public-private cooperation that balance security requirements with economic efficiency and individual rights. These partnerships must address shared vulnerabilities while preserving competitive markets and protecting proprietary information. Training and education for hybrid warfare. Preparing military and security professionals for hybrid warfare requires educational approaches that span multiple disciplines including technology, psychology, economics, and international relations. Traditional military education programs must adapt to address threats that operate across domains and involve both state and non-state actors. The complexity of hybrid warfare operations requires interdisciplinary teams that combine expertise from multiple fields to understand and counter sophisticated threat campaigns. Military organizations must develop new career paths and training programs that prepare professionals to operate in these complex, multi-domain environments. Simulation-based training environments enable realistic preparation for hybrid warfare scenarios without the costs and risks associated with live exercises. These systems can model complex interactions between cyber operations, information campaigns, and conventional military actions to provide training experiences that approximate real-world operational conditions. International cooperation in hybrid warfare education enables sharing of best practices and lessons learned while building relationships between professionals who may need to coordinate responses to future threats. These educational exchanges strengthen collective defense capabilities while promoting understanding of shared challenges. Conclusion: hybrid warfare represents the new reality of international conflict in the digital age. The integration of cyber operations with conventional military action, information warfare, and economic pressure has created new possibilities for achieving strategic objectives while avoiding traditional escalation dynamics that characterized conflicts of the past. The organizations and nations that master hybrid warfare concepts will possess significant advantages in future conflicts, while those that remain focused on traditional military approaches may find themselves outmaneuvered by adversaries who understand how to leverage the full spectrum of modern conflict capabilities. The rapid pace of technological change ensures that hybrid warfare will continue evolving as new capabilities emerge and existing vulnerabilities are discovered. Success in this environment requires continuous adaptation, innovative thinking, and the integration of capabilities across multiple domains and organizations. Understanding hybrid warfare is no longer optional for military and security professionals. It's essential for anyone responsible for protecting national interests in an interconnected world where the boundaries between peace and conflict have become increasingly blurred. The future belongs to those who can think across domains, integrate diverse capabilities, and adapt quickly to changing technological and strategic environments. In the age of hybrid warfare, victory goes not to the strongest, but to the most adaptable and strategically sophisticated. Thank you for joining us on Cybernetic Warfare Frontlines for this comprehensive analysis of hybrid warfare and cyber operations in modern conflict. Subscribe for more strategic insights into the technologies and concepts shaping tomorrow's battlefields, and remember, in the hybrid warfare era, every domain is a battlefield, and every capability is a potential weapon.